Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Coming to you from where it all began, Nairobi region. This is the Great Debaters Contest, and I am Austin Nyambo.
And I am Mariam Bashar. Today we have an epic battle of the sexes slated for you. Gathirimu girls goes versus the gentlemen of Brookshine High School. Should technology and innovation be made compulsory in schools? We'll let the debaters take the stage. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
I'm Nyambura Geshohe from Gathirimu Girls, here to strongly propose the motion that states technology and innovation should be made compulsory in all secondary schools. So what is this technology? Technology is the scientific knowledge of solving practical problems. What of innovation? This is changing or creating more effective ways processes and ideas. So, why am I saying that it should be made compulsory? Students go out for maybe games or music. You can name all those activities. Once they come back to school, they need to catch up. And you are told, go catch up with the rest, write notes, or look for someone to explain it to you. What if, when the teacher was teaching, we had a video being taken? Don't you think it would be enjoyable? Of course it would. You don't need to go telling anyone to explain it to you. You have a clip to check from. And of course, not every student gets what the teacher says. Examples are given, a student misses out. So you need to get it from the horse's mouth. You need to get what the teacher says. In addition, it is motivating and it is more enjoyable. Look at it. A teacher comes to class and the only thing he or she does is writing on the chalkboard. You sometimes get bored and many students start dozing off, right? But what if you had a laptop for yourself? What if you had a tablet for yourself? Don't you think it would be enjoyable? Don't you think it would be more motivating? This is a changing world. We are living in a digital world. You don't have to tell me that it is not going to be made compulsory, because this is a digital world. We are a developing nation, that one I understand. But again, as we develop, we need to introduce technology. How do I explain this? A primary school kid has a laptop, which means it has been made compulsory to them. I am a high school student and I don't have a laptop. What's that? How do you explain that? It's even unexplainable. Again, assessing information. When you have a book, okay, I'll take an example of a Form 4 student. You have to take your Form 1 book, your Form 2 book, your Form 3 book, and your Form 4 book. What if you have a laptop? What if you have a tablet? You just need to key in your question and you get the answer. So, I strongly say it should be made compulsory.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to make your opening remarks.
Representing Brookshine School is Albert Odundo. Resistance to change. As we all know, teachers in secondary schools or even rather primary are contented with the status quo as per now. You might realize that they're fine with using chalks, standing in front of the classroom teaching, and it looks fine for them. So introducing this type of technology and innovation to them will be too cumbersome. Reason out that it will need them to go back to training institutions to be taught to come up with innovative ways to come and teach their students. So it will take up much of their time, and it won't be fair to both the students and both the teachers. On to my second point, the 844 curriculum. As you all know, the 844 curriculum is so tight. Personally, I wake up at 4:45 every morning and my lessons get to end up at 4 o'clock in the evening. I have prep till 9:30. By the time I go to sleep, I'm very tired. Introducing this kind of a program to us, you are just adding a lot of work for us. Me personally, I can even faint. So I don't think adding such kind of a program to us will be fair to the student. Lack of capital. So many schools are not able to afford latest technology because we all know technology emerges each and every time. Technology is something that has to be updated every now and then. So schools will have to buy each and every time an updated version of a technology. So how many schools will be able to afford to bring up money to buy each and every technological tool in schools? And what will happen to the ones that are outdated? To my fourth point, security. As you all know, some schools even lack classrooms, they lack electricity, facilities to support the technology and innovation that is supposed to be brought. So what will happen? As we all know, theft in Kenya is very high. So bringing such technological tools to our country will involve high rates of theft. People will come to steal all that is there in schools. Who say that schools cannot also be robbed? As much as banks are being robbed, introducing such program, let's say you bring 50 laptops in a school, and then we have guys outside there who are poor and they cannot afford money to even put shelter for themselves or put food on the table. You just find it easier to go to the school, steal the laptops, sell them, and get money to support himself. So basically, I think the forum should not be introduced into secondary schools. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Jarida Wambui, Gathirimu Girls, and I'm here to propose the motion that states technology and innovation should be made compulsory in all secondary schools. My opposer has talked about capital. If you are careful to listen to what Kotu reported about 1.7 billion being lost of taxes that are not being taxed, I believe you'd know that we are losing much money where taxes or some people or through corruption and we get people not being taxed, and that 7 billion is being lost. If we speak on theft, we have banks and institutions, other institutions where we have many laptops. Stealing do happen, but I believe we have CCTVs. So if there's stealing in schools where laptops are, where we have labs of 50 laptops, as you said, then there will be CCTVs to locate or to identify who the thief actually is. Is in teaching, where we have, it will be so much easy to teach with whiteboard or with computers and laptops than it will be. You spoke about chalks and dust and all that. What I know for a fact is that change is inevitable. And there was a person who said that there's only one person who accommodates change, and that is a person or maybe a baby, and that will definitely, he or she will accommodate change. You didn't tell me growing is a process, and us as an individual or as a person, a child grows from level to level, and I believe that I may not accommodate change because you don't tell me I come from primary school and go to secondary school. Obviously and definitely, I have to put a lot of effort. In university, I know I have to put even better effort or much effort to accommodate what I really need to achieve in life. So technology and innovation supports learning practices. That is my second point. And I believe that if we have people or computers and laptops, then learning will be made more easy and learning will be enhanced. If we look at a developed nation, and that is USA, we are a developing nation. Maybe it's due to us being colonized, but we are a developing nation. And I believe that we may not be there, but we can use what they have used to improve on what we do not have. And on to my third point, we can keep students focused for longer periods. I believe you and I, if we had computers, if we had laptops, if we had, what do we call them, whiteboards, if you have all these things, It will be better than listening to a teacher. He's there teaching and maybe you're not getting anything. But if you have visual aids, if you have the pictures, the graphics, then it will be better. So if you join me on this, I believe it will be much better. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
Let's get real, people. Are we seriously that selfish? Man is to error. But are we that selfish to the extent of thinking of only our wants as able people? Put yourselves in the shoes of that handicapped person, that disabled person out there. How will they use the laptops? Please don't tell me he'll use his legs to type. Despite being Kenya having a few schools of the disabled, that's not an excuse to say that if we implement technology and innovation in our school curriculum, it will help. Who said so? English is not English without writing. Writing skills, letter writing, composition writing. What if students could sit in front of their computer screens, laptop screens, on their phones? If this was implemented, definitely we'd become lazy. Handwriting will not apply. Composition writing will not apply. Letter writing will not apply. Then what's going to be set in the national examination? We all know our 844 curriculum is quite strenuous. I see Form 4s waking up at wee hours, burning the midnight oil, just to get the hang of 8 subjects, or probably 1 subject that they're weak in. So what if you introduce such a wide subject in our curriculum? It'll just increase the workload. No one wants to be overworked. So I strongly oppose the fact that innovation and technology should be compulsory in secondary schools. I am Colin Sodus from Brookshine School. Thank you.
Why do I save? Because I want to go to uni, and let's face it, life has challenges. I never know what's going to happen, so I must save to overcome the challenges.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The proposition have been asked, wouldn't introducing technology in schools cause a hindrance, especially because of social media? And the opposition have been challenged that technologically disabled people and handicapped people use technology even more than the able. So is that not a contradiction? They'll be responding shortly. Proposal number 3, you have 3 minutes.
I'm Purity Macau from Gathirimu Girls High School. First and foremost, I want to answer on the question that was asked about something to do with the likes of the WhatsApp and Facebook. I believe that the same way Safaricom can get someone who misbehaves is the same way that the government is able to get those people or those students that misuse the technology. It's all about protecting the environment. Technology has proven to help students to be able to acquire skills and knowledge that is required in reading, writing, and also arithmetic. Technology has served students well in that they are able to do what technology requires them to do. It is better late than never. So I would like us as a students to be able to join me in proposing this motion in that we should be able to let technology be introduced in our schools so that we can be able to access into information. I, as a student, I will prefer using technology more than using published books, because I believe that use of published books later will come to be dumped, because I know that the books that were used in the years 1990s are not the same books that are used today. Through the dumping of these books pollutes our environment. And taking as an example the Kenya Institute of the Curriculum Development, which is an organization that was constructed mainly for the purpose of producing the electronic content. I have a question which I would like to pose to you students. Will you prefer researching by using a heap of books, or would you prefer researching by use of technology? So I would like you students to join me in proposing this motion so that you can be able to access the information easily. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Ladies and gentlemen, hakuna bamvua isiyo na usumbi. A wise quotation from the masters of the Swahili language. Yes, technology will have the better side, but at what cost? My name is Eric Mtua from Brookshine School, standing here firmly opposing the motion which states that technology and innovation should be compulsory in all secondary schools. To the question posed to me, the cost of these equipments which will help the disabled is very high. Because, for one, Kenya is a third world country. Yes. And a third world country is still developing. We cannot compare ourselves to China or US because they have the latest technology which can help the disabled. And yet, here we are talking about what is affecting our country. Our country, the secondary school children, they want to learn, but they cannot. You find that a blind person is using the oldest type of braille, while another one is in America is using the latest model. Now, surely what is that? Distraction of the student's mind. My fellow counterparts have said that when the teachers are teaching, most of the time they are boring and might doze off. But give them a computer. This is a scenario of what will happen. The teacher is teaching about how to get the probability or the gradient of a line. This student is bored. What will he do? Open the computer or the laptop. Start listening to music. Then a message pops up. Talking to another person somewhere else saying, hi. Then you see an insinuating picture. After the student has used the laptop, he will continue thinking of that insinuating picture. My, oh my, how beautiful was that picture? How insinuating was that picture? Surely do we want to give these things to our children, to our students in our country? We will not develop. On to the second point, lack of social amenities. I'd like to back up what my fellow partners said, that you may find in secondary schools, the children are learning under a tree or in classes made of iron sheets. And yet, you want to say that you want to provide technology and innovation with equipments such as laptops and other enhanced equipments. This will not be of use unless we help our students now by providing the basic social amenities. We will not be doing any justice to our students. Thank you.
Any of the proposition, you can make a final submission. You have 1 minute.
I'm Mina Geshohe and I'm back. You talked about distraction. Just because you've seen something, should you be attracted to it? You can control yourself. You don't have to tell us about being distracted by social medias. You can control yourself. Listening to music when a teacher is in class. Don't you think that is disrespect? It is. The second opposer said that we are being selfish. Brails, isn't that technology? what if we make this technology and innovation compulsory? Don't you think that you're going to come up with, even with braille laptops? Who knows? They might be there. So I stand here to strongly propose the motion. Technology is like blood and oxygen. You cannot do without it. Thank you.
Opposers, you also have a minute.
I'd like to believe it's the psychology of mind. For any person who sees an insinuating picture, I want to believe everyone here, when you see a handsome man or a beautiful lady in a computer, it definitely, and I want to emphasize, definitely will distract you. So I don't see the point of you denying us. So I want to bring out my final comments by saying, Albert Einstein once said, I fear the day technology will surpass our human intervention, the world will have a generation of idiots. So I want to believe that today our forum has been well portrayed and shown to the people. And I want to say that Kenya has a lot of emerging issues to conquer rather than putting technology and innovation in secondary schools. There is lack of electricity, lack of water, lack of social amenities like infrastructure, roads. We should more concentrate on that rather than putting technology and innovation. We have succeeded without them. Why should we put them right now? If we are not yet developed, let it come later. Thank you.
Mini, I think you start off the team very well. You're a strong speaker and you have a presence, when you start it off. And even when you come to close down your final remarks, it is very evident on that. And it was a good start. Of course, when you emphasize on education and the fact that you believe it should be put across to enhance education, the different teaching methods that technology can bring forth. Jedida, you're the second speaker, and the role of the second speaker after Mini has spoken is to cross-examine, is it? So you listen to the first speaker of the other team and you come over and cross-examine what he has said or he has brought forth. Nonetheless, that was not evident. Purity, I don't know whether you were dealing with stage fright. We noticed sometimes you would pause for quite some seconds and then pick up. At least you managed to give all that you had planned to give. But I think you need to now do some extra practice, okay? Practice will make perfect at some point. So it will help you avoid the breaks and will work on your coherency and flow so that now you can become a better speaker, all right?
Brookshine School, and I think you had good points. And I can say all of us have points why we think that technology and innovation should not be introduced in schools. We can list the points. How do you explain your points to your audience to believe you? Persuasion is very important. You raised issues about blotted content and you made reference to 844 system of education. That's correct. What about the other systems of education? Do they still suffer from the same blotted content? Affordability, that's a beautiful issue that you raised, and security. And finally, you say that theft in Kenya is quite high. Of course, that is quite subjective unless you furnish it with evidence. Collins, you have a presence, but the problem is this. Your presence is kind of deceptive. Once you have strong presence, then the expectation is very high. But the problem here is you have very strong presence, but the delivery is a bit bumpy. If you can only combine the two, the presence that you have and delivery, then you can actually garner marks for your team. Mutua, as it has been said, fair presentation. At least I saw some passion and some energy in the course of your presentation. But still, you can do something to improve on your delivery. To the two teams, it was a fair debate, but there is a lot we can do in order to improve our delivery and make ourselves better debaters next time.
Gathirimu girls, the judges awarded you with 65%. Please give the ladies a hand. There is only a 1-point difference between them and the gentlemen of Brookshine, who have 66%. We'd like to thank all of you for watching and ask that you follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA and on all our other social media platforms. Safaricom M-Pesa, we'd also like to thank you, and KBC Channel 1 as well for carrying our content. Thank you for watching the show. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.